pie. It's been around for thousands of years, and I've been around for thousands of days. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make 3 pies on the fly to show off to your family. Except this year, when you tell them they're homemade, you'll be telling the truth.
Did y'all hear the sound?
And we're not even using a recipe. Instead, we'll be relying on the 3-2-1 ratios for perfecting pie dough. You'll be fine. As always, this video comes to you with dozens of tips and tricks for preparing stunning pies delivered to you from this extremely professional, award-winning pastry chef. Bloop.
That was a big ass bloop.
It's all about pies on this episode, so come along for the butter and make sure you hit that subscribe button before we start prepping.
It's pretty simple. You need flour, butter, and ice water. Those 3 ingredients and a simple reminder of 3-2-1. So you always want 3 parts flour in your mix. Now, bread flour is more ideal for making pies. However, it's not accessible to everyone on every budget like all-purpose flour is. I'm gonna scale, I don't know, let's say 1200 flour. Jiggle it out. Now, freshly out of the bag flour doesn't need to be sifted. I mean, you can sift it, but the point is it wasn't exposed to humidity, or hopefully wasn't. It was well packaged. For butter, if we're doing the 3-2-1 rule, we should essentially need 800 grams of butter for my 1200 grams of flour. Easy way to remember, honestly, is just having 300 grams of flour, 200 grams of butter, and 100 grams of water. And then just multiply that out. So you don't ever really need to have a recipe for a pie dough. It's just you counting down. All right, that's 800 grams of butter. Now we need to scale ice water. I need 400 grams of ice water. So I'm gonna scale some ice, 100 grams of ice, and then some cold water from my fridge. It's filtered. So I have some butter that I left in the freezer. I wanted to make sure to show you guys a technique that is used in the industry. Okay, so this is frozen butter from my freezer. I have the cheese grater attachment, right? That's on my food processor. And you have frozen butter, like rock hard frozen butter. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you don't have a food processor, you can still use cold butter. You're just gonna use a cheese grater by hand to do this. I'm just showing you what we would do in a resort setting, as we have a food processor like this that's and it does majority of the work for you. Put that back on the food processor. I'll show you a different method using this tool, some flour, and then of course, you're gonna want chopped up pieces of butter. Just make sure to not use frozen butter this time. Essentially, we're looking for the butter to be broken up into little pea size, so you should feel the flour. We don't want to blend it more than that because otherwise we'd overwork. So I actually think we were on for 10 seconds. I don't need more than that. I am going to show you what it's like to flake it in by hand. No machine, in the backyard, you know, no electricity. We're talking like over a campfire on a cowboy's coyote hunt. I don't know what the butter they did in colonial American times. All right, so after you've cut your butter danger mouse style, you know, with just a raw knife towards your hand, as the comment section loves butter like this. It's dangerous. Yeah, so is a lot of butter. Cut in my butter. How would you flake it in? You're just gonna grab a piece, grab some of your dry, and pinch the butter. Pinch it. And then flake it. So like your hand is going. You can just watch me. I'm gonna do it with both hands actually, just grandma style. You know, grandma watching The Fire and the Coyotes back in the day. You know, I guess she would be doing this. Happy Thanksgiving, you know, working hard. Everyone else farting around the campfire. I don't know what they're doing, gathering firewood. Butter.
What are you talking about?
All right, so I think we're done. I'm happy. I mean, you can clearly tell there's butter in this. I mean, come on, look, it's just like chunky. All right, now we're gonna make a well. Okay, we're gonna do 2 things. Add salt in sugar. So for every 300 grams of flour, you're gonna do 1 teaspoon of salt. So now we need sugar, 40 grams of sugar. Also for you diabetics out there, you could have used this sugar. I love monk fruit sugar. This is one of my favorite brands. This video is not sponsored. Let's make a well and get this butter mixed up, because this is the messy part. Water in the well. And then just gonna go to town, fold it in. I do like the out claw method, as if I was picking up a claw machine stuffed animal. The other thing you can do to make your pie dough really tender is go ahead and add some lemon juice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab 1 lemon. I'm gonna go ahead and zest it. Remember, it's about flavor. Where can I hide flavor? How can I elevate this? How can I next level this? All right, so we zested it, you know, as much as we could, and we're gonna juice it. Why are we juicing it? Because it's gonna stay supple. It prevents gluten from forming. So this is gonna keep that pie dough really tender. It's gonna add a little bit of flavor. Lemon goes great with apples. It goes great with blueberries, cranberries. Also, I'm a sucker for vanilla. You can do fresh scraped vanilla beans or just buy Trader Joe's. All right, we're mixing it up. Remember, claw method, claw method. At this stage, the whole goal is compression. You just need to work on compressing. So just grab it and press it, right? Grab all body weight, compress it. I'm not really mixing it, right? I'm putting my body weight on it. Body weight. Again, you see all the beautiful, like, little dots of butter? Like, I mean, come on. I need this to rest, so I will be packaging it up in some plastic wrap. It's exactly how we do it in the resort. We make giant logs and we cut discs off those logs and then roll out those discs to make pie dough. I'm not kneading this. I'm literally just like, but yes, this is how thick the log would be in a resort, except the log would come out to like here, guys, okay? Like, log. So we're gonna pull the plastic wrap towards us first. A lot of people get nervous. Don't get nervous with plastic wraps. Buy the big ass plastic wrap. It'll last you 3 years. Hundreds of these little puppies are being made across America at every resort, everywhere. All right, it's gonna go in the fridge while I pep the filling. Okay, so this is the KitchenAid attachment peeler. This is the love of my life. This makes pies so quick. Look at our beautiful KitchenAid. KitchenAid, this is not sponsored, but I love you. If you want to sponsor me and send me some free butter, I'll gladly make recipes with it. I'm gonna take that off, and then you're gonna line that nipple up. We want the apple one. So there's one for coring, and then there's one for slicing. And you just boop. Pink Ladies and Granny Smith. Now, why do we pick these 2 apples? Okay, so these are tart, these are floral and sweet. An alternate apple from Pink Lady would be a Honey Crisp, is a really good option. And always green apple, always green apple. It's never, no reds, no, green. Magic. But yeah, so worth it. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Let's do this. So like, my apples are not old. Those are just bruises from them being banged around in the bag at Aldi. So sometimes there's little like straggler bits that you're not really wanting for your apple pies. Easy peasy. That took us 15 minutes. That's pretty fast in my opinion. My secret to apple pie is brown sugar. We have 850 grams of fruit, and we're gonna add 15% sugar to that. I'm gonna need about 120 grams. And I'm gonna need about 50 grams of flour. I'm gonna add some cinnamon, and I'm gonna do about 15 grams of cinnamon. And we're gonna do 25 grams of cornstarch. Again, we're doing the claw method, open hand claw method. I'm gonna do 50 more grams of flour, and then I'm gonna cut in a stick of butter. I had a cold stick of butter, and I'm only gonna use half of it for this. I'm gonna cube it up really, really small, and I'm just gonna throw those little cubes of butter in the pie. And then we're gonna do not one, but 2 tablespoons of sugar. First cut, I'm gonna make a nice clean cut. I just want you guys to see the marbling. I'm flattening it out with my hands before I even bother getting the rolling pin. Look at this rolling pin! I love you so much. I've had this rolling pin for like 14 years now. Remember to lift and flip. Go in different directions. All right, that's it, done. Staub white pie dish is my favorite one to use for a deep dish apple. You roll it up onto the rolling pin. Everyone always says, how thick do you roll it out? You should be able to pinch it, but still feel like a little pillow between your fingers. I'm gonna cut it, and you can just see, look at that comparison as I pinch it. Why? Because you're gonna see there's a butter flake right there. And then look, there's another butter flake right there. So if you keep it too flat, it's so thin that you've now lost all of those little like pockets. Okay, now let's get our pie filling in there. Oh, I'm so excited. Now we're making this a really tall, deep dish apple pie, which is why there's so many. You're like, oh my God, she's mounding it. Now I'm just gonna move them around so that like, I know for a fact there's like apples everywhere. Now we need to be able to close this up, so I need to roll out the top. Get your hands, man. Everyone's like, I'm afraid to touch it, my hands are dirty. Free spirit, a bird and flying high. That's my new. There should be 1 egg and 1 yolk, and a little bit of water. I'm just gonna stick them together with egg wash. Now, not everyone puts them together with egg wash, right? Some people just use water. That's completely fine. I always feel like Snow White when I make pie. I always feel like that scene from Snow White when the birds are in the window. That's literally it. Like, if you wanna just poke some holes in that and call it a day and be like, I don't wanna do anything fancy, good for you. You know, I don't know, find something that's sharp. I have this little skewer, and I'm just gonna poke a circle. I don't know, maybe a star. Is that devil worship though, if I put a star on it? Okay, no, okay, I'm not gonna put a circle and a star. Butter. No, I'm just gonna poke some holes in it. Why do we poke holes? We poke holes to have ventilation, okay? All right, that shit can breathe. I know for sure that pie is gonna breathe. All right, so it's a thumb and pinch, or at least that's how I do it. You just do it however you wanna do it, I don't care. Go on the bottom. Ta-da! You're not filming my butt, you're filming the pie, right? Hand to pie. So observation A, flake. Look at those layers. Observation B, has released from the mold. Everyone always thinks you need something special for pie. And you don't, you just need a fork to help you lift it.
Uh-oh, let's try that again.
So rescaled it. Yeah, that I can already tell. Looks more juicy. Okay, I'm excited.
Taking into account that I added way too much flour and cornstarch last time, we're gonna take it down a notch. There's not a ton of moisture content in apples, so I'm also gonna be adding some pineapple and orange juice, because I don't have any apple juice, and we make it work here.
Look how cool this tool is. Okay, it came in like a kit. Lecu. I don't know, but it came in a kit. I got it at a garage sale. Let it roll. Let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. It's like cheating to get lattice. Okay, don't obviously press as hard as I did. How I preferred to do it this time. And then we're gonna put it on top. And look at that. Look, I can just like pull it apart to get like a little design. It just gives it like such a fun texture. A lot of people just buy pies because they think it's too intimidating. Pies are not intimidating. Just know how to make a really good pie dough and everything else should just be fun. And look, we're just gonna cut the rim on. That's it. I'm just cutting the edge. So I am gonna roll under the crust. So I'm gonna dip my fingers in some flour so I don't stick. And I'm just gonna make sure like the crust is stuck together. And I'm kind of like tucking it into itself. See the liquid, it's already coming out. Look at that, whoop whoop. So as it bakes, it's gonna come out and make like this nice goopy mess. So excited. I would cover this whole thing in some crystalline sugar, but I just don't have crystal sugar, so. Oh, look at that mound. Going in the middle, and then I'm gonna put a sheet pan on the bottom because I already know there's gonna be a mess. Just caught it in the nick of time. Isn't that a good thing we put that pan in the oven to catch all that goo? Can I pour it in the holes like glaze? Maybe. I mean, it's not burnt, right? Just rolling out dough, doing the same thing. Just gonna flip it. Ooh, look at that. You can see all the butter. So just like with any cast iron, you want to make sure it's well oiled and well cleaned. I'm making sure that all the residue comes off. And then I'm going to use some cooking oil to spray the inside of my cast iron. Now the cast iron is cold currently, right? But I'm going to do a trick. I'm going to heat it up on the stove first to get the pan nice and hot while the pie is in it. And then I'm going to throw that sucker in the oven. So that's good, even all the way around. We want that excess lip. Okay, and then we're gonna do our lid. I told you it's not very complicated to do lattice. More or less just tedious. I'm using this as my straight line. And I'm just trying to do even thickness. I want like a nice clean edge every time. So when I'm weaving the lattice pattern, I don't have to like worry if I get up to this scraggly ass edge and be like, oh, that's not enough dough. Like you want to make sure that whatever length you pick is gonna wrap over and under. So we're at 0. How many of these for one pie? This is a half one because I've been eating some. But they are frozen. You hear that noise? Why do we do them frozen? Freezing them allows for a longer cooking process. So it's gonna keep the whole blueberry. If we were just to use room temp blueberries, sometimes the water will leach out too quick before the pie dough's cooked, and then you get like a really soggy blueberry pie. And I know you butters in the comment section are gonna be like, did you wash them? No, I didn't wash them. I don't know, whatever, sorry. I did about 3.5 containers. 9:15 is where we're at, 9:15. Do I have flour in my hair? I did save that lemon zest, so in goes the lemon zest. Okay, 9:16, so we're gonna do 20% sugar. 20% sugar. No, let's do 25% sugar. So that's 228 grams. I'm gonna round it up to 230 grams, and we're using white granulated sugar, no brown sugar for this recipe. Scale it. Hopefully you're not filming my butt. Hopefully you're just filming my beautiful containers that I can link for Amazon. Yeah, 230. All right, here you go. So I did about half on my blueberries. And now I'm gonna reserve the other half of the sugar to mix with the flour and cornstarch. Let's do 110 grams of flour. So I'm doing like 12% starch. And cornstarch for this, let's just do 7 grams cornstarch. Oop, actually it wanted to be 8 grams, so we're doing 8 grams cornstarch. I'm gonna add some lemonade to this. And I'm gonna only add about 50 grams of lemonade. If you wanna hunt down blueberry juice, I'm just doing pies on the fly with what's in my fridge. I did 85 grams, right? Just a little 85. It doesn't look like a lot of liquid, right? But it will help to allow the starches to mix into the pie. Again, pies are great because you don't need like any fancy equipment. Remember, there's a lot of moisture content in those blueberries. We're gonna paint the edge of it, of course, with our egg wash, because we're about to glue our lattice top to it. We are gonna take equal parts to make like a little circle. So I want 2 shorties on either side. I try to keep like equal pieces, because if you use all your pieces vertically, you're gonna have no pieces to put horizontally. So I like to assemble on the pie. Some people assemble on the table and then transfer. I mean, you can honestly do whatever you want. I don't care. Like, I'm not leaving a lot of space. Like, look, that's like a millimeter. I'm laying down the first one. So this is gonna be an over and then under. Like, it's really the first one that's always like the most bit.
Butter.
Pastry Chef's curse, okay. So sorry for all of you little ears. Okay, so now that you have like kind of like a flow, right? Now it's gonna be a lot easier. Like, there's a lot of reasons why doing it on the pie is better. It'll stretch with like the shape of the blueberries. You can get a little teeny bit of egg wash. I'm just gonna push it on there. Squeezing it on the edge before I cut it, like I wanna squeeze up into the crust. So I'm gonna take my knife and it's gonna cut around the edge. I'm just pushing up against the edge of the cast iron to guide your knife. Now I'm gonna turn on my stove and get this pan nice and hot at the bottom. Now, why do I do that? If you put it in the oven right now with a cold cast iron, the cast iron's gonna take forever to heat up. So instead, I'm gonna put it on the stove top. On a speed 6, I am touch tapping to see when this is hot. While I'm waiting, all I'm gonna do is egg wash my pie. Okay, why do we egg wash? To make it shiny. We egg wash for shine. It's hot. I can feel that it's hot at the bottom to touch. Now we're gonna go in our oven. That's it. That's all you did. See, look, it took less than 1.5 minutes to get the bottom warm.
Look at that. Oh, we got juices flowing.
Everybody loves pecans, and I could show you how to make pecan pie, but we're gonna make something a little bit better. Every year I make cranberry sauce, and every year nobody eats it but me. I'm gonna show you what to do with that leftover cranberry sauce. We're gonna make a pecan frangipan cranberry tart. But first, that cranberry sauce. I got cranberries, mandarins, it's like throwing
Butter.
I like to use 2 apple skins. Apples have pectin in the skin, just like lemons and oranges. So instead of using pectin powder, I just take the skin of all of these 3 fruits, and that's where my pectin's hiding. Now I like doing big pieces because they're easier to pull out of the cranberry sauce when I'm done. And this is gonna go into our cooking pot. And let me just grow an extra pair of limbs right here. And this is great, like if your kid wants a snack and you don't know what to do with the skins of mandarin skins, save them for making jelly. Almost there, sorry, I'll peel those bits.
Butter.
Those going. Peel the lemon. Now we're not gonna try to get the pith. This one we don't want any of the fruit. Try to leave the pith, which is like that white stuff. Look how I can see all those pores. What do we do with the leftovers? Well, we're gonna juice it into our food processor. And we're gonna juice our leftover lemon. And then we're gonna juice all of these mandarins. All right, so 1 cup of sugar into the food processor. And then we're gonna do 1/2 cup orange juice. There you go, 3/4 cup. We're gonna blend up some cranberries on the food processor to release juices. And then the other bag is gonna go on the stove uncut, untrimmed. So we're not gonna blend these up. These are just gonna remain whole. On and start the heat. Let's blend this sucker up. All right, that's it. I just pulsed it. Cranberry sauce, a very low, slow process. The sugar pulls the moisture out, which is why we blend some of them up. Sugar's gonna help to draw out that moisture from the cranberry. It's just so beautiful. We love making cranberries. Pretty much done. Ooh, look at that. Look at the moisture coming out. All right.
right, it's the third and final day of making pies on the fly, and this one's gonna be a Frangipan Cranberry Tart. We need pecans, sugar, butter, and eggs with a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm gonna use half brown sugar and half granulated sugar, but either way, it's still a 1-part ratio. But it's just 4 ingredients: sugar, butter, pecan flour or almond flour, or, well, a nut flour, and eggs. 150 of brown sugar, because I'm trying to reach that 300 mark. I'm gonna get that sucker up to 300 now with regular white sugar. I like some spices with my pecans around the holiday season. I'm gonna add about 2 grams of cinnamon. I'm gonna add 1 gram of allspice, like 3 dashes of nutmeg. I don't really know if there's a scaling to that, so use your best judgment for nutmeg. In total, I have about 5 grams of total spices. Now I'm gonna add my butter, because butter and sugar always get creamed together. I need 300 grams of butter. Remember, everything's gonna be equal parts. So we're gonna cream this first. While this is gonna be mixing, I'm gonna blend up my own pecan flour. So I need to scale out 300 grams of nuts for my recipe. I understand, we just scaled. I get it, we just scaled. However, I do a chew of nuts in there, because like when you go to empty this contraption, right, you can do your best to like empty every bit of it, but you're still gonna leave some behind. We're grinding it, pulsing it, a little on off, a little rock back. Be very gentle with your machine when you do that, please. The longer you process this, the blade will create heat, and with heat becomes oil. The oil will leach out of the nut, causing warmth. And when you're making nut flour at home, you want to avoid that. Just pulsate it. If you just leave it on, this will turn into a nut paste. This took less than 30 seconds. So I am gonna mix this, add that in. I do want my eggs to be ready, so I'm gonna scale my eggs. So 300 grams of eggs. I am gonna whisk these up just a little bit before I choose to put them in there. It makes it more homogeneous. And throw our nuts in. Remember to scrape down your bowl all the time. I finally found almond flour in the kitchen. I'm not really happy with this consistency. It doesn't look like the traditional Frangipan texture that I'm looking for. So like I mentioned earlier, I am gonna add some almond flour to cut this pecan. I already made equal parts, 300, 300, 300. So I'm only gonna add 100 grams for texture. I'm kind of thinking now maybe I should add something to make it more of like a pecan pie reference. I have some dulce de leche that I didn't use from another recipe. I'm gonna use some dulce de leche. It looks like I'm gonna put 200 grams. That's it. Frangipan's made and done. Happy with that consistency. So I have my favorite Trader Joe's vanilla paste, and I'm just gonna, I don't know, put a bloop in, if saying bloop helps you. Bloop. That was a big ass bloop. That's my bloop. I don't know, grandma style. That's how much vanilla I added. You guys figure it out. Wow, that smells like pecan pie. And I love seeing all like the little dots of vanilla in there. I had a lady one time, when I was the pastry chef of a fine dining restaurant, I gave her creme brulee and she was like, "There's dots in my creme brulee." Lady, that's the vanilla bean. From this whole recipe, I didn't use 65 grams of eggs I left behind because I chose this consistency of Frangipan. I'll scramble that up from my dog for breakfast. The point is, you choose your consistency. So look at that, 3 days in the cooler, and our pie dough looks still like it was made on day 1. So we're just gonna cut this directly in half. A
Relax the gluten, push down. Relaxing it, so I'm like kind of pushing it towards it, creating like a hollow space, if you will, and then pushing it down. I want to be able to give it enough slack so that as the pie dough shrinks, it has somewhere to pull from. So see, now I'm gonna close that air pocket by pushing up into the air pocket and then pushing it out with my thumb, because your whole goal is to make a thick crust. I'm gonna fill this up with our cranberry sauce that we made earlier, and it's now cooled and in the fridge. Wow, look at that. Cranberry sauce ready to go. Look at that, it's like fresh out of a can. That's so cool. Cranberries are great. They're tart, they're sweet, high in lots of healthy things. I don't know, go Google it. But they're good for you. I'm pretty sure you can go figure out what cranberries are good for. Kidneys, that's what I meant. I'm a woman, I get UTIs. Cranberries are good for kidneys. Close it, twist it, cut it, pipe it. So I'm in a pretty big hole, and we're gonna start from the center and go out. I'm gonna decorate mine with rolled out of my scrap pie dough with like little pie leaves. So I bought these leaf cutters at Sur La Table. I absolutely adore using these. So I always dip the cutter in a bit of flour and then I stamp it. And the final stamp, and out comes a little maple leaf. I'm just gonna make sure it glues to the edge, and I'm gonna keep going all the way around, like a little wreath. A little bit of egg wash, and I'm just gonna glue them overlapping. Been in the freezer for 30 minutes. It is rock hard frozen, and now I'm gonna egg wash it. We freeze it to hold the definition of the cutout shapes. I think it's gonna turn out great. I'm gonna pull my pies out of their hiding places and serve them up. I think you can make pie in any vessel that you have for the holidays. Oh, I'm going for blueberry first because fruity, dark colored pies are my favorite. Look at that, it's juicy. Oh, y'all, making me all nervous. There we go. It lifted, we have a lift. All right, we're plating it. That's damn near perfect. Whoa, did y'all hear that crunch? That means like the apples are still crispy. Oh, sorry, that sound. Did y'all hear the sound? Ooh, that one's so much more juicy than the last apple. I mean, come on. Oh, y'all, I'm so excited with how this turned out. Look how high it is. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Let's go. Last one. It's still warm. Just do it. Ah, no, it's still warm. Ooh, I'm excited. Sounds crispy. Oh, look at that. Let's start with apple. Oh, look how thick and still with such flavor. The apples are still crispy. You have that tartness from the green apples and that sweet floral from the lady pink apples. This got a nice crispy pie crust and a little bit of bite on the crumb of that bottom crust. I'm so happy with this. Next up, we have my juicy blueberry pie. I'm just gonna go ahead and take that bite. Surprisingly, I got blueberry, but I got lemonade right away. I don't know, I think I still could have done better. So maybe 7 out of 10. And don't worry about adding the lemonade for moisture content. Clearly, we can see blueberries had enough water content. That's all a learning lesson. I do this for so many years and I still learn. This looks really beautiful. It is still warm, so that's why it's all like glistening looking, but ooh, we're going for it. Don't eat this expecting pecan pie. That's more for Christmas. Like, save that cranberry sauce. Let it sit in the back of your fridge for 2 weeks. The apple pie was my hands down favorite, then the blueberry, and then the pecan cranberry. Either way, the pie dough is a 10 out of 10. I had fun with pie dough. I hope you take the chance to be more comfortable with pie dough and making pie from scratch. As you can see, it was easy enough. 1, 2, 3. You gotta remember your ratios. You gotta multiply some numbers, and you gotta wing a thing or two. I'm really, really tired, so. This is really good pie. I wanna go sit on the couch and eat a slice. Can I? We're just gonna say this is the end. And always, follow for more pastry fun. Bye.